Hello and welcome to Streaming Idiots. I'm Tom Sinclair, Chief Idiot, Idiot in Charge. What's it be like to be in charge of a bunch of idiots? No, I'm sorry. That wasn't intended at you. That was intended back at me. Really excited about today's show. Today's we're going to talk about the NewTek NDI implementation in vMix and also NDI in the wild. It's going to be a wild show, and we may go a tad over time. So if you're here live and you can't stay for the whole show, I certainly understand. We will have it posted up to YouTube just as quick as we can this afternoon. Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, glad you popped in. Don't go away. Don't let us scare you off. But if you find the show interesting, please subscribe. You can drop me a note and tell me what you didn't find interesting. I screw up all the time. So if I say something that is absolutely positively wrong, don't just blow me off. Correct me, please. I really need it. I need to be corrected. I'm talking a little fast today because I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I'm on edge. It's that fine edge between insanity and brilliance, none of which is really mine. I'm just experiencing what's going on with this new technology, NDI, Network Device Interface, from a company called NewTek. They're the folks that make the TriCaster. And just a quick overview of NDI. NDI is it's a combination of things. It's a protocol of transporting video and audio over your local area network. So you have a camera attached to a computer in another studio. If you're on the same network, now you can share that camera with what is about a half or a quarter of a frame of latency. It's stunning. There's probably some compression going on. There's something going on somewhere. It's not just magic. The engineers at NewTek have done magic by putting all this together and making it work. And the possibilities are mind-boggling. Today in the studio, I've got I've got 4 PCs running this. And remember, I'm the one guy, one PC, one awesome broadcast dude. And this is way out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm nervous. But it's really exciting at the same time. And what I've done is I've cobbled together, thinking that, we're all in this together, right? None of us are going to go out and buy a whole room full of brand new computers. Would that we could. And if you can and you want me to build you some stuff, let me know, because I do that on this. I don't do that on the side. I do that as my major source of income. I do this show on the side as a lot of fun. The PCs that I'm working with, in fact, I've got a diagram here, and I'm just going to flash it up for just a second. You don't have to take notes yet. You won't be tested on this right away, but you will be tested on this later. And you may want to go full screen at this point. There are basically 5 things you need to know about this picture. In the middle, that blue box is a gigabit switch. And each one of the 4 PCs, well, really 3 PCs and a laptop, are attached to this gigabit switch. The switch is attached to a router, which is attached to the internet, so you can see what I'm doing. The PC on the top is the production PC. That's the one that we're using right now. And that's based on a 2nd generation Intel i7 processor, overclocked to about 4 gigahertz. It's got a GeForce GTX 750 graphics card and running Windows 7. The PCs on the left and the right of the switch have the same processor but different motherboards and different graphics. They're both running Windows 10, and down at the bottom is an Asus ROG laptop, again with an i7, running Windows 10, and with probably the best graphics card of the whole group. So that's a quick overview, and we'll come back to that in a minute. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can pause this. You can make it go high resolution to 1080 so that you can read all the little teeny words. Once I did this graphic, I kind of realized, oops, sorry about that. Boy, I hate when I do that. That's being nervous about the show. and popping back into the intro video instead of into this. They have the same look on the screen. I need to set up some keys on the keyboard for it. All right, so we've got 4 PCs. Now the reason I picked 4 is because that's all I had. I could have stolen my wife's laptop, but I would have had to pay a way big price for it, and that wasn't worth it. Oh, and I've also got a phone, and we'll use this in a minute to make a Skype call. But let's see, where shall we start? Oh, heck, let me show you the graphic again. We're going to start on the right side with what I'm calling the camera PC. And that's got a Canon Vixia HF100. That's the one you saw me, if you were watching live, that's the one you saw me doing last-minute adjustments to. It's coming into a Blackmagic Design mini recorder, DeckLink mini recorder via HDMI. And so let's go to our page and well, heck, I'll just show you. This is the cam. This is the cam. And this camera it is sitting right there, but it's got a cable that's going all the way across under my table right now, and you can see that bunch of cables right over there going into the server closet, and it's going into a PC in the back of the server closet. And I'll take you in that closet in just a minute. Oh, you know what? I've got a webcam in there. Maybe I need to hook that up too. And so I was playing with this later. There is like no latency between the PC that this camera is attached to and this image that you're seeing right now. There's just none. There's no latency. Oh, let's show you what it looks like. All right, bear with me. Yeah, we are way off the grid on today's show. So hang in there. You're going to get to see the guts of the closet and how ugly it is and how messy it is and how crazy my cables are. But hey, you know, that's just the way we live. All right, so let's see if we can give you guys an idea of the closet. Oops, a little much. All right. And I'm not dressed for a full shot. This is, oh, let's get a little bit more of that shot. Oops, we lost that cam. That's what I hate about HDMI. Once you get it set, don't touch it. All right, let's see if we can't. We'll just use our zoom. Okay, so you can see there's a rack in there. There are 3 PCs in the rack with a monitor on top. The PC on the bottom, this one right here, is the one that's attached to this camera. And this camera and that PC is connected to the gigabit switch, which is out of sight on the other side of the closet, as is this PC, which is the production PC on the top. And let's see if we can get a little, I'm going to try to move the camera and hope it doesn't get disconnected. There we go. And on the monitor there is the NDI Connect software. And that has gone out and seen that that particular PC has a video resource on it, this particular camera shot, and it is relaying that or making that camera shot available to the gigabit switch. Now the switch just connects these 3 computers. These 3 computers and then a laptop that's just over here, just at the edge of the frame. So these 4 are on kind of their own local area gigabit network, and that network, that switch, is attached to the router in another section of the building that has connection to the internet. So what you're seeing, is there a way? I think there might be a way to capture this. Let's see if there's a way to capture this screen right here so that you can see it more clearly. What I'm going to do is just fire up vMix. This shot right here is on a PC that's not running vMix actively at the moment. So you're getting this camera shot right here without using vMix. But let's see if we can't use vMix in order to capture this window so you can see this window a little better. So 1 second here. This is live as it gets. And this is vMix 17, version 72. And we're going to do a desktop capture. And we'll capture display 1. And let's pop that back up and see if we can then, over here on our PC, add an input that is display 1. It's going to be a vMix output. Well, that's not it. Sit tight. There it is. Okay. That is a vMix screen capture of the NDI Connect application running on this PC. This is the i7 2600K. This particular one has an AMD Radeon HD 6500 card in it. That's the graphics card in it. The window at the top, goodness gracious. Sorry about that. Thought I'd turn the sound down on that. Let's do that. The window at the top is one of the 2 sources that you can grab or that you can make available through NDI with NDI Connect. Now there's NDI Connect Pro that is $995 that will allow you to double that to 4. Or you can buy vMix and get 1,000. Yeah, pretty laggy, but what you're getting right now is a screen capture of an image. This is not something that we would ever want to actually truly use. The shot that we want is that the one right there? Nope. Trying to, I didn't make good notes. My apologies. On, oh, there it is, right there. That's the shot right there. And there is a little bit of lag there. Let's check and see what's going on with the network. Good catch, Alan. Well, it doesn't look like there's a lot going on in the network here on the PC, but I would bet perhaps on that small one something's going on. We're trying to do a lot, and maybe I'm trying to do too much. That could be it. CPU usage right now in vMix is running about 55%. On this PC, it's running about 70 to 76%. Anything above 70 is dangerous. vMix is running on the camera PC. Yeah, let's cut that vMix out and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so I've ended that instance of vMix there, but it doesn't seem, what's the frame rate down to? Maybe 15, maybe 10. Boy, before we did that, it was nice. So obviously I've messed that up. That is, yeah, and CPU on this PC is going up into the 80s, so let's close this out for just a second, and we'll see if the CPU won't come down to a manageable level. Yeah, now it's down into the 50s, and that was one SDI input. Excuse me, NDI input. Let's put it back. Let me show you what I'm doing. Let me capture the desktop here. So we'll get a little desktop capture thing figured out right here. vMix, is this the one we want? No, let's try again. Bear with me, folks. The beauties of live. That's not the one we want. That's not the one we want. Well, the vMix desktop capture is different now. Let's see if this is what we want. Nope. One more time. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. NDI Connect is free, Al. I'll put a link in the chat here in just a little bit, or somebody else may beat me to it. Restart NDI Connect on that machine. That's a good idea too. Let's see. So let's do that first. Now keep in mind that this is the PC that has the AMD Radeon HD 6500 graphics card, which I got. This is the message that I got when I first started it out. And so my guess is that lag is coming from the lack of GPU. They do recommend an NVIDIA GPU, and we can see the difference in a minute, how much difference of NVIDIA GPU makes. So let's go back and add our NDI input. Oh, before we do, let's change this screen capture and sharpen it so that you can see the words a little better. So we're going to add an input. We're going to add an NDI desktop capture input. And so it takes a second for the NDI portion to populate. And you can see that the ESB broadcast PC, these are the NDI options available on this computer. Skype 2, we haven't gotten to. We'll get there in a second. No, I guess Skype 2 is the one we want. Yeah, there's the Canon right there. All right, so let's bring that in and see if our frame rate has gotten any better. Yes, it has. It cleared that up. Possibly adding vMix to the mix was more than that little PC could handle from a nice little flash there. Interesting to be sure. Okay, I don't know about you, but that's driving me nuts. So we can, yeah, I can see the CPU use has gone through the roof on this one. So let's close out that input for just a second. And what I can tell immediately is, let's go back to this shot, is that I don't have the you know, it's funny, last night and this morning as I was testing, I wasn't streaming and I wasn't recording. And so I wasn't paying attention to what we're noticing now, which is you start stressing the PC or the PCs, and you get CPU use up into the 70s, and you're going to begin to get these problems like the frame problems that we had just a minute ago and the flashing problems. But also consider that the PCs that we're running, each one of these 4 PCs has come up with an error message at some point from NDI to say, hey, we don't like you. Essentially, we don't like you. One of them came up with this message. This is the PC we were just looking at, that your GPU might not be supported, and I can say it was only partially supported. When I went to run the NDI Connect on a different PC set up in that rack server, it just refused to run. It required that I have OpenGL drivers that support GL version 4.0 and better. And that was a PC that was using the the onboard graphics, the Intel HD 3000 graphics, and it just would not run at all. Now, when I say would not run, what I mean is that it would not run NDI Connect. It ran vMix and the vMix implementation of SDI, and we'll go to that here in just a second. And Al looks like Ovanus has got a link in the chat to get this. And for folks that are watching on YouTube, again, sorry for the disjointed nature of this broadcast. It's you know, it's live and it's new technology, and I want to get it to you. And I didn't have a lot of time to practice and make it perfect. But I'll put a link to download this stuff in the show notes here so that you can go to NewTek and get it. Let's take a look next and let's see how it does. Let's look at the laptop. Now that's going to be this little guy right here, and you can tell my chroma key is messed up because the white doors to my server closet were providing some of the illumination to the green screen right there. So let's see what we've got here on the laptop. We've got 2 instances of NDI. Well, we've got 1 instance of NDI Connect, but with both channels. And so let's go back to our screenshot here, and I'm going to add an NDI capture. And we're going to scroll down to the ROG, Tom's ROG. And the first thing you're going to notice, and let's go ahead and send that to program, is that it's taken the, this is actually the laptop's built-in webcam. And it's taken that and converted it to 4.3. And I've read some places where that's something that has been a problem and they're working on it. The other thing, I'm going to right-click that input and we'll go to the other one. This is the webcam. Oops, and it's got the door in the way. There we go. This is a webcam that's set up behind the laptop, a Logitech C920. Again, attached to the laptop, coming through the NDI from me to me and then to you. With this particular connection, CPU is going anywhere from 65 to 70 on the production PC, and the laptop doesn't appear to be having a problem at all. Let's minimize the NDI Connect and see if that affects anything. Doesn't appear to affect anything. Still getting a pretty good shot. And again, since it's a webcam, you're noticing that we're getting the 4:3 aspect ratio, even though it appears to be, does that appear to be squished a little bit to you? I thought it was squished, but when I went into vMix in order to change the aspect ratio to widescreen, then I got the feeling that, you know, that was too wide. So I put it back on normal or source didn't appear to make a lot of difference one way or the other, and that looks more normal. You be the judge. So that's two webcams from the laptop. CPU usage here on the production PC is running 65%. Supposedly these guys are sending 720, I think, whereas the camera that we looked at just a few minutes ago was sending 1080 59.94i. And I didn't look to see what the network use was on that. Right now, the production PC is using 7% of a gig. So you do the math. I'm burned up on doing math right now. The way I switched was to take the input you can see down here where the cursor's flashing, and I just right-clicked it, and I knew that I had named these two, webcam 1 and webcam 2. I named them in NDI Connect, and so I can switch between them just by right-clicking here. And what I realize is that unless I've got a beefier PC and the right graphics card, that I'm not going to be able to populate my input section here with all of the inputs that I might have available. I mean, when I right-click here, you can see the first two are audio. Then there's a camera, an output, which is probably a camera, and then there's the Canon camera, and then there's an output, which is the equivalent of a camera, two audios, and then two more videos. So there's quite a bit. And if I picked it all up, it would be quite a bit of load. Although most of these right here are local. These are on PC number 2. These are on PC number 1, and these are on the laptop. So let's this whole demonstration is pretty well not gone the way I anticipated, but that's live, and that's okay. So we're going down the toilet. Let's go a little further. Let's pull in the PC that we haven't seen yet, and I think we can get the vMix output on it, and I'm going to switch to that, and that is, as you might recognize, that's a Skype window. So I'm going to call that PC on Skype and see if I can't get it to answer and see what we can see. So here comes the call. And this is me, and so this is just my Samsung Galaxy. My Samsung Galaxy, whatever it is, S6 Edge. It is calling to the PC in the closet. Looks like, what is it picking up? Is it picking up the Skype window? Yeah, it's actually picking up the Skype window. That's interesting. I thought it was going to pick up the vMix output. So let's see if we can change that. Nope. vMix output. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Because vMix is just picking up the... I'll let you see here. Actually, it's going to go to infinity. That's the vMix in output. And I can imagine with a better camera than the one that's in this phone that we might see a better picture. And obviously it looks like we've got some aspect ratios to clean up. Let's see if we send it to widescreen, if that helps. Yeah, that's not bad. That almost looks like me. Okay, now keep in mind that everything we're doing so far, this is all audio. Check that, video. We haven't done anything with audio yet. So you may hear the phone periodically saying,
trial.
Yeah, there we go. That's virtual audio cables, the trial edition, that's currently hooked up to Skype on that PC for some testing. So we got as far as video with this last night and this morning. The next challenge is to put the audio portions of it together, and what we found out is, well, let me drop this call and we'll get back to life as at normal. Okay, there we go. What I found out is that Skype does not recognize any of the NDI audio. No surprise with that. So an audio source like this audio, and I'm pointing to my microphone just out of the camera shot. The audio from this Audio Technica 897 is going into my Behringer mixer, the X1204 USB, which is going into the PC via USB, and going into vMix, and then coming out of vMix going to you, and I can make that vMix audio. Let me show you how I do that. Let's go back to that screenshot just a second. We're going to go to settings here in the top right corner. Come on, settings. There we go. And one of our options here is external outputs NDI. And when I select that, I've got our normal external output stuff, but now here at the bottom I've got the NDI section that allows me to choose which of the outputs in vMix are going to be available to other PCs on the network, in this case the Skype PC. And so I've got it set where anything that's recording, external, or the main output, what we would call program in other computers, that's available on the network. And then cameras and audio inputs are available on the network. And I don't have audio outputs. I wonder, maybe that'll make a difference. We'll try that. Can't try that now. Oh, because we have to restart vMix in order to make it work. Well, we won't be doing that. But suffice to say, that's the next part of the testing, is to get the audio portion working with things that maybe it's not designed to work with. There's some chat in the conversation, there's some conversation in the chat about the Skype call and how well synced my voice was. That was because you guys were picking up this mic because the Skype audio not hooked up. But the proof of concept so far has been on the video side, that we were able to connect 3 PCs over a gigabit network to a production PC, each one of those 3 PCs with various video sources, Skype, a Canon HD camera, and 2 webcams. And the Canon, let's try that Canon camera again. I'm a little disappointed that that one didn't work out as well as it did. And that's this camera right here. And now it seems like it's doing okay. Oh, no, there's the flashing again. I wonder if that flash is coming from, let's switch back. Switch back to that PC. And we'll see if we see a flash here on this screen, if it's happening. There's a, you can't see it from here, but on the NDI Connect window here, there's a red border around that that camera image right now that tells us that NDI Connect knows that this shot, this camera shot, is in program. I haven't read anything about that yet, but I saw that. Oh, we're picking up extra audio. Sorry about that. Let's turn that off. There we go. Yeah, we don't get the audio we do want, and we do get the audio we don't want. On the laptop, the NDI Connect showed both webcams, and as I had them queued up in, there we go, flashing again. I think that's something to do with the network, because the red border here would flash as well. And look, I think we're seeing some interlacing lines here, right here. I wonder if NDI is not, if we're not picking up and able to de-interlace this image. Well, it says it's blending it. We'll have to play with that some. That'll be interesting. We'll go back to this shot just to be safe. So the two images, the two webcam images in the laptop that were available here on the desktop in testing, I had one in preview and one in output, and they actually, one had a red line around it and one had a green border around it. And in vMix is set up with a orange border atop the preview window and a green border atop the output window, or what would be called program. But that's not the way TriCaster does it. TriCaster has got green above preview and red above program. And so somehow the NDI Connect software was able to recognize where we had put this software. I got distracted by the chat. The NDI Connect had been able to tell that we had placed one of the images in preview and one of them in program. So there's a lot going on there. And I think that's going to probably tie in with the tally light kind of situation. In fact, that may be exactly why it was intended that way. So we'll have to get some more information on that as time comes. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to in 2 weeks at NAB is to be able to spend some time with the NewTek folks and get some more backstory on how this works and how they intended it to work and what they're finding out about how it really does work. There are other apps besides NDI Connect. There's a whole list of them that I didn't have time to go through today, and haven't had time to really go through a lot. There's a scan converter, a video monitor. They supposedly have something called NDI Webcam, but I haven't been able to find it yet. And then NDI ISO Quarter and NDI Plugin. Now this list I got from the folks at PTZ Optics, so that this may not be accurate to what NewTek is really offering. There is a company out there, I believe, called Sirius, like the Star, not like the Attitude, that is developing some apps for the Apple market that will make Apple's part of this NDI scheme. So that's going to be really fun to see that come in too. In fact, there's an NDI app for an iPhone that allows the iPhone to connect to, if the iPhone is connected to the local area network, to be able to pass its video through as an NDI connection as opposed to just an IP camera connection. So probably take advantage of less latency, maybe even boost the frame rate. Excuse me. Goodness, sorry about that. Let's see. Where are we? We have blown through a bunch of information and blown up. Oh, it is Sienna. Thank you, Ovanas. It's Sienna, not Sirius, and that's S-I-E-N-N-A. So, what do we got? We got a situation right now where we've got one NDI input in preview, and the CPU is blowing up. So we're going to take that out for just a second. Let me show you again the setup that we've got today with a gigabit switch, 4 PCs attached to it. The switch is attached to a router, which is attached to the internet. Each one of these PCs got a warning message of some kind when we attempted to use NDI Connect. Some of them, or actually all of them, appeared to be graphic related. The PC at the top, the production PC, got a warning message to update the drivers. The Asus at the bottom, the laptop there, got a warning to update drivers, and then the PCs on the right and the left got warnings that their graphics would not be good enough. The PC on the right with the Canon camera attached to it was able, as you saw, was able to show some image, although we had some troubles with it. And then the PC on the left running Skype never did run NDI Connect, but we were able to connect Skype through vMix. So the conclusions that I can draw so far is that if you've got, well, and you know what? Let's try one more thing before, and I know we've gone way over time, but let's try one more thing. I'm going to take the PC that has the camera attached to it that we were running NDI Connect on, and I'm going to end the NDI Connect connection, and set up a vMix output there, and let's see if we get better service on that one. So bear with me just a second. Let's see. Let me try to give you something half decent to look at. Probably end up being my rear end. Sorry about that in advance. Okay, so let's add a camera input. And let's verify in settings that we are set to output cameras. We are. Okay. So that should be available now as a input in vMix in NDI. We're going to pick up the camera version of it. And that is the camera version of it. You can see over my shoulder that we've got vMix running. And then in the bottom left-hand corner is the camera input. In the top right-hand corner is the output. And we are actually picking up this one right now. I did notice that there was a little bit of difference in the quality between this image and that image. And let me shift between the two of them and see if that's true today. This was last night when I noticed it. So we'll go to output, and I'm going to switch it now. Well, it looks pretty much the same. Much ado about nothing. Let's try it again. Yep. Okay, well that's good. Maybe I just didn't have enough light on the subject. We are getting a little bit of flashing there like we did again. Oops, sorry about that. Camera audio. So, CPU usage is running 70, 80. So still going NDI, picking up this high definition camera is more than this PC and network can handle. Wondering again how important how important the graphics cards are to this whole network. Okay, let's see. So let's kill off that input for just a second. And CPU dropped from 85 to 55 for that one input. So the hit is not just on the network, the hit is going to be on the CPU too. And it looks like if I had that camera attached to my PC directly, it wouldn't be taking as much of a CPU hit. Now again, this whole setup right now is not optimized at all. It's thrown together. So there could be some things that I have not done that I'll find out about, and that 30% CPU use on this production PC might fall to 5% if things were properly configured. So I'll bring that information to you when I get it as well. Wow, we've gone way over time. For those of you that are still with us live, thanks for sticking around. For those of you that have watched this far in YouTube, you're a glutton for punishment. Glad you did, though, and hope you'll subscribe and come back and join us again live for one show. Let's see if we've got any questions that I've missed here in chat. Is this the new one for shows running out of control? Well, maybe. Somebody asked about the Canon camera. It is a Canon Vixia HFR 100, and that's in the diagram. If you saw the diagram. What else do we see? Some discussion about latency. Somebody says that everybody should call me on Skype. Let's don't do that. Martin K. was very instrumental in getting NewTek to open up an NDI section on their forum, which would seem like a no-brainer. But he had a good conversation with the president of NewTek and was able to get them to go ahead and open up an NDI forum section. I mean, it's a whole section in their forum. So if you want to go to the NewTek forum, and I'll put the link to that in the show notes too. If somebody's got it, they can put it here in chat, and kind of follow what's going on there too. I'm wondering if maybe vMix will do the same thing. We'll see. And you know, it's going to be interesting. And one more discussion before we close. Interesting to see how the vMix implementation of NDI differs from the NewTek tools that have been made available to us. For example, I was able to use vMix to capture and send the Skype video over NDI, where the NDI Connect app wouldn't even run on that PC. So vMix is going to have some definite uses just for NDI. I think, especially for those of us that are trying to take, you know, dinosaur PCs, blow the dust off of them, and put them back into use as a second, third, or fourth PC in a broadcast. So suffice to say that we got some work left to do, but it's really fun. You know, when folks went out on a gold rush to California, you know, there were wonderful dreams about, you know, hills full of gold, and they were, but it was hard work and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of discipline required to get to that. And we're kind of in a similar situation here. So let's don't write off NDI yet. If we do, write it off because I couldn't make it do what it needed to do. And Martin has posted a link to the forums in the chat. So, thanks for taking time out to tune in. Tune in next week, and we'll have probably an update on NDI, especially if we made some discoveries about how we can fix things and make them run better. I'm going to update the graphics card drivers in these two PCs and see if that makes any difference. And then we'll see. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be in Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters annual convention and trade show. I understand it's the largest trade show in Las Vegas every year, and that they've dedicated almost an entire hall to all things streaming. So that'll be where I'll be hanging out a lot. If you've got questions, things that you'd like me to pay attention to while I'm out there and come in and report back, I'm happy to do that. Shoot me an email. It's tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and we will be happy to do that. And don't pay attention to all the green screen mess today. And blame it on NDI. That's what we're going to do. We're going to blame it on NDI. So let me make sure we got things queued up here. And thank you for popping in. And I hope you pop in again. And if you're watching live, hang around. We've got a party afterwards. Hey, this is Tom again with some post-show notes. We did about a 45-minute after show, after the show, of course, post-show, and played with a lot of different concepts on NDI and realized that I had some settings set on that needed to be off and some settings off that needed to be on. And when I did, it was able to get the CPU use way down, under 50%. Which kind of is my goal. So I wanted to leave you with that note. And you got to come for the live show. There's so much good stuff that goes on before the show and after the show that you miss. But and by the way, this note is only for folks that are watching on YouTube. So hope you come with us live someday. We're Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern. Take care. Thanks.